The best of the Morning X on 99X. Barnes, Leslie, and Jimmy. The original 99X.
Carl Reiner coming up next.
People saying, now wait, Carl Reiner, is he the guy who was on All in the Family and the director? That's his dad.
That's his son that was on All in the Family.
Carl Reiner, who directed The Jerk, directed Oh God. He's won 12 Emmy Awards.
He was also the creator of the Dick Van Dyke Show.
Yeah, you remember him? He was Alan Brady. So he'll be
it was
up with us next.
Next, Carl Reiner on the Morning X.
Did you live before man believed in the Almighty?
Oh, yeah, a few years before we believed.
Well,
a couple of
did
years.
you believe in anything? Did you believe in any superior being?
Yes, a guy, Phil.
Well, who is Phil? Who is Phil?
Philip, the leader.
Philip.
He was the leader of our tribe.
Philip?
Philip.
He was the leader.
Oh, yes.
What made him the leader?
Very big, very strong, a big beard and big chest and big arms, and I mean, he could kill you. He could just walk on you and you could die.
You revered him.
And we prayed to him.
You prayed.
Would you like to hear one of our prayers to Philip?
Do you remember these prayers?
Oh, Philip. Please don't take our eyes out and don't pinch us and don't hide us all. Amen. That was it.
And Philip did these things for you? And
yes.
You followed him?
Yeah, right.
How long was his reign?
Oh, not too long, because one day Philip was hit by lightning.
Ah.
And we looked up, we said, there's something bigger than Phil.
Ladies and gentlemen, for his first appearance ever on the Morning X, please welcome Carl Reiner.
Hello.
Morning, Carl.
Good morning.
How are you, sir?
Well, I'm alert.
You know, Carl's one of those few guests that you got to put the capital L word attached to his name.
I believe that.
What is the capital L?
Loverboy.
Oh,
No, it's,
thank you.
Legend, of course.
Legend.
Oh, well. Yes, you know, that's a word that was invented for other people, I think. The word legend is so silly.
You've done it all, my friend.
No, I haven't. I haven't sung in the opera, which I really wanted to do more than anything.
Was there one thing you enjoyed more between acting, directing, writing novels?
No, I think the thing I really appreciate doing more than anything is writing. If I can write something that people either want to read or hear, or that's the thrill, because that comes from your head.
Now, you know, like comedy changes. I mean, certain things are going to always be funny, but things, a lot of things that maybe were funny back, 20, 30, 40 years ago just aren't as funny today. Do you think you could write good comedy for today? Can you find yourself fall into the comedic mindset of what people are into today?
Not probably well, I just wrote a book of short stories that has some things in it are funny, some that are, touching. But, yes, I think I can, but not to compete with the things that the kid... You can't write for kids. That's one of the things that's very difficult to do, is keep au courant with the new styles of the language of kids. By the way, the language of kids is music, and music is something that's very hard to assimilate when you get older. Everybody has their nostalgic music. Even the people today of over 30 do not react to the kids' music, of the very young kids' music, the new rap and rock stuff.
When you say kids, I was wondering if you were saying 30, or do you mean 10?
No, by kids, I mean to me, kids have always been the same age,
right? But
from 12 on, from 12 to 20, they're kids. But the comedy is you can keep au courant in comedy by watching and continuing to appreciate the things that are happening that are new. I mean, if you look at Chris Rock and say, I don't get him, then you're not living in today. Chris Rock is funny.
Yeah.
I mean, he's salacious. He talks a little... he talks language that we might not have used, that we would not have used years ago. But funny is still there. And you can keep au courant in comedy if you watch it and appreciate what's going on.
Yeah, I see Carl maybe guest hosting like Russell Simmons' Def Comedy Jam.
Absolutely.
I can see that.
Your son Rob did one of my favorite all-time movies, Spinal Tap. Did you think that was a funny movie?
I think it's one of the best comedies ever made. I mean, it was that's one of the few comedies that if you watch it today. I mean, if you've seen it, I've seen it many times, but every time I bring it up to somebody who hasn't seen it, I'll watch it with them and appreciate it just as much.
Do you have a favorite movie that you directed? Because you directed, some great early comedies, all the early Steve Martin movies like The Jerk.
Well, those are the ones I think very fondly of, because especially The Jerk, because that's one of the breakthrough movies that made a lot of money and entertain at the same time. But you always go with the movies that, not always, but I do, with first of all, the ones that started you, like Enter Laughing, which was a thinly veiled biography of my life, and it was the first. But the one that you like is the ones that didn't make money and you enjoyed making. There were things like Where's Papa and Oh God, they were wonderful, but there was a thing called The Man with Two Brains that Steve Martin and I did that
I like that
didn't
movie.
do at all well. I mean, it cost a lot of money and didn't make any money for the company, but both Steve and myself feel it was our favorite movie because it was the silliest movie, but it had such wonderful laughs in it. And to this day, every time we hear somebody calls and says, that's our favorite one of your movies, we say, there's a person with taste.
You ever watch any of the old Dick Van Dyke shows? I mean, they run seemingly 24 hours a day on either Nick at Night.
No, actually, they run in the middle of the night, and if I'm up sometime, and lately I've been up a lot reading at night in bed, and I find out it's on, I'll clip it on to see what episode they got, and I sit and I lie here and sometimes giggle and sometimes reminisce about how we got to do that particular show and the problems during the day. It comes back to me in droves, the memories when I do watch it.
Was there one actor that you worked with, actress you worked with early on that you thought they have a lot of potential, they're going to be a big star, and they ended up being just huge?
Well, no, I haven't.
No,
I
they all
probably
have.
but I can't remember. You want to hear the one that I knew his talent, but I never thought he'd grow to the potential he did.
Who?
I mean, to the success he did. My own son Rob.
Oh, yeah.
I knew he was talented, but I never knew he was that talented.
That talented,
Well, especially
right.
as a director, I mean, I don't think any of us, watching All in the Family,
Right.
and certainly, he was great on that. But I mean, he's turned out to be one of the premier directors of the whole generation.
I know.
And I don't think that's understating it.
The marvelous thing about Rob is he does pictures I like. I mean, everything he does is got some reason for doing it, and either to make you laugh or to make you think.
Was there one actor that you worked with, actress you worked with early on that you thought they have a lot of potential, they're going to be a big star, and they ended up being just huge?
Well, no, I haven't.
No,
I
they all
probably
have.
but I can't remember. You want to hear the one that I knew his talent, but I never thought he'd grow to the potential he did.
Who?
I mean, to the success he did. My own son Rob.
Oh, yeah.
I knew he was talented, but I never knew he was that talented.
That talented,
Well, especially
right.
as a director, I mean, I don't think any of us, watching All in the Family,
Right.
and certainly, he was great on that. But I mean, he's turned out to be one of the premier directors of the whole generation.
I know.
And I don't think that's
He does-
understating it.
The marvelous thing about Rob is he does pictures I like. I mean, everything he does is got some reason for doing it, and either to make you laugh or to make you think.
He's just got a touch that it's just many people don't have.
Yes, he does. He has a understanding of what's good.
Did you ever work on a movie together?
Well, we did one not together. He is partners in Castle Rock, the company
Right.
that makes the movies. And a few years ago, he offered me a movie to direct, which was Sibling Rivalry with Kirstie Alley. And so he was my boss. And what a pleasure to have a smart boss who can tell you. Usually, heads of studios are not that smart. They don't know enough about how to tell you to cut, edit. He was a very good partner to have.
Do you ever go through that thing? A lot of fathers and sons, or sons that come from famous families, go through a period in their life where there's like a lot of resentment because they feel they can never follow in their father's footsteps, and there's always a period of time where they don't want to admit they're the son of whomever. Did you guys ever go through that?
Every child who's whose parent, one of the parents or both parents are famous, has a difficult time especially if they go in the same business, because it's always there, even if they start making it. When Rob was very young, he had an improvisational group called, I'll think of it in a minute, with Joey Bishop's son was in it, and Ricky Dreyfuss, and a few people like that. But they were about 18, 19 years old.
I love that. Ricky Dreyfuss.
Yeah.
This is like old school Hollywood, guys. Ricky Dreyfuss.
Ricky Dreyfuss I've known since he's 13 years old. They were friends in high school together.
And he and
used to come
Dusty.
to the house and sit a lot and talk. And so I should call him Richard Dreyfuss, because he's now a gray-haired man, and I understand he's getting married again.
He's like 60, Ricky. Yeah.
But what I was saying is that at that age, they had an improvisational group, and they performed someplace, and I never knew what they were doing. They used to get a room someplace and rehearse, and then on the opening night, they asked us to invite all of our friends, and we did, and we never knew we didn't have any idea what we were going to see, and we saw something brilliant. They were hilarious, and everybody said, "Oh, you must have helped your son with that. You must," and he got that. Your father really helped you. And Joey Bishop, we didn't do one thing for them except give birth to them and let them hear us talk in the house, but we had nothing to do with what they did. So that is always an uphill climb for kids who have parents who have earned the same business and have made it. But then, of course, comes the talent of the kid, and the name sometimes will get you in the door, but it will not keep you there if you can't produce. Rob never traded on. I never helped Rob do anything. He went out and did it when he was 18 years old. When he went to college, he started doing it on his own.
When you first saw All in the Family, what side of the fence were you on as far as, did you think at the time this is just way too risque for television, or were you able to see through all that? Because
no, I when I saw the pilot, I said, "My God, this is hilarious." But I said, I don't know if they're going to allow this on the air. That's what I worried about. The quality of it was there. There was no question about it. And the fact that it was new and doing things that hadn't been done on television before is always exciting for people who are trying to entertain by not doing something that was done before, not cloning something that was successful. Here was something that was original, and the fact that it existed in England in another form called "Till Death Do Us Part."
Right.
In other words, the time was. Everybody thinks nothing is before its time. Things happen because the time is there for the person to. The time is now for that to happen.
And you know what's kind of funny about that show is it seems like we've come full circle, because back then it was like really risque, and then we went through a period in the country where it was okay to say certain things on TV and not be politically correct. But now we're back to the point where I don't think you could get a sitcom on where the lead character was calling Irish people micks and black people spooks and Italian people dagos. Like, I don't think you could do that today on TV.
You could do it if the intent of the program is correct. In that program, the bigot was supposed to be a bigot. We knew he was a bigot, and the people who felt that he was wrong had somebody to hate, somebody to disagree with. I think if the quality is if a quality show like that came today, it would be allowed, because as long as the show's heart is in the right place, humanity-wise, it'll work.
It's like there's so many special interest groups today. It's like that show, The PJs.
It's funny.
Like, there's nothing wrong with that show, and then all the groups.
Well, I haven't seen it yet.
The fact that it's not funny. That's
the only thing wrong with it. That's right.
All in the Family easily ranks in my top 3 sitcoms of all time.
I think so.
Yeah.
I would have to agree with you.
Yeah.
Thank you for being on our show today.
Oh, am I still on?
Yeah, yes.
I thought I was just chatting with people.
No, Carl.
You mean people have been overhearing us?
I'm telling
while
you,
they're riding in their cars?
They're just eavesdropping on our little confab here. One last thing we would like to ask you to do, and that is called our fish quiz.
We can't let you go until you do that, Mr. Reiner.
Right,
what
Carl?
should I do?
You just name as many fish as you can in 15 seconds.
We're going to give you 15 seconds, okay?
Name as many fish?
As many different kinds of fish as you can. You got to rattle them off in 15 seconds.
Oh, okay.
Speed is very key here, Carl. So
we'll accept anything under the water.
Anything that swims,
okay.
crustacean, anything like that.
On your
ready to
mark,
go?
get set, go.
Flounder, fluke, scrod, bass, Saint-Pierre, John Dory, sac, whitefish, bluefish, bluefin, tuna, albacore.
10.
I got 11.
I got 10.
I got 10 too.
How many do you people usually get?
The champion was 15, and that was Coolio.
Oh, well, call me in an hour when I'm really awake.
Thank you, Carl. It was nice
I
to
didn't
meet
say
you.
Guppy.
No, but
Oh,
you did a
left
good
it out.
job. 10 is very respectable.
Okay.
Thanks, Carl.
Okay, bye.
Carl Reiner on the Morning X.
You're on the best of the Morning X. Barnes, Leslie, and Jimmy. 99X.